This is my newest desk setup, and over the past few years, the previous setup that I've been using had gotten to a point where I felt like it was kind of complete. I didn't really see any need to change it up anymore. But at the end of last year, I moved into a brand new studio space, and with that move, I found myself wanting a new desk setup that was designed with portability in mind. See, my previous desk setup is the video editing station. It's where my souped up Windows PC lives, and it's where I do all of the grunt work for this channel. But I still use a MacBook Pro for most of the documentation side of my business. So replying to emails, writing up contracts and invoices, those sorts of things happen on my Mac. And so there was this clunky process of whenever some form of documentation was needing to be completed, I'd have my MacBook Pro open awkwardly on the side of my desk next to my other peripherals, and it just didn't feel right. As well as that, my wife is also just starting her own business, and so she is obviously needing some sort of workstation that she can come to and get her work completed throughout the day. And so it was out of these needs that this brand new desk setup was born. The idea is that unlike a regular desktop PC setup, this one is more of a plug and play situation. It's been designed so that anyone can bring in their USB-C compatible laptop, plug it in, and have a beautiful setup to get their work completed. So without further ado, let's take a look at what has gone into making this setup look and function the way that it does. All right, you clearly can't have a desk setup without a desk. And so for this particular setup, I've finally gotten myself a sit-stand desk to hopefully start the process of improving my posture. This desk is the Smart Desk 2 Premium from Autonomous, and I've always wanted a walnut-topped desk, so that's the one that I got. Plus, I got the black frame to go with, and I've got to say, I really like this color combo. A desk setup really is only as good as the desk itself, and so the fact that this one is so visually aesthetic helps to set the tone for all of the other accessories included on top. The process for setting it up was fairly simple, although for some steps you will need a second person to help lift the desk and turn it around and so forth, but it only took me about half an hour to have it fully set up, which is pretty great going. As I said, I've never used a sit-stand desk before, so I don't have a lot of experience with other desks from other manufacturers, but the operation of this one from Autonomous seems super smooth. You can also preset up to 4 height adjustments as well, and so I've really been digging this walnut desk from Autonomous. Now from there, I think the key component that makes this setup so plug and play compatible is this ultra-wide 5K monitor from LG. This is actually the same monitor that featured in my previous desk setup video, so I encourage you to watch that one if you're looking for more info on this specific monitor. But the key feature that made me decide to include it in this setup is that it has a USB-C Thunderbolt 3 port on the back. This means that all I need to do is plug in one cable into any Thunderbolt 3 USB-C compatible laptop, and not only does that display the laptop's image onto the monitor, but it also charges it at the same time, making this a one cable solution. And this is such a key feature for me. The less cables, the better. Now, whilst we're talking about my MacBook Pro, just wanted to take a moment to thank today's video sponsor, Setapp. So Setapp is a subscription-based platform that gives you access to some of the best paid Mac applications available, all for a single monthly price. There are over 200 fantastic productivity-focused apps that you can find within the Setapp platform, including the amazing AI-driven photo editor Luminar, as well as the super popular Clean My Mac tool, plus a huge amount more. It's also got an incredible user interface with curated app collections like productivity, security, Mac hacks, and so forth, which makes searching for apps an absolute breeze. And in fact, it even features an app recommendation system, so you can spend less time looking for apps and more time getting things done. And believe it or not, you get access to all of these apps for the super affordable price of $10 a month, which is pretty outrageous. And in a lot of cases, that's almost a year's worth of just one of these apps on their own outside of Setapp. So the value is insane. There's also a 7-day free trial with no credit card information required, so there's really no reason not to try it out. So check out the first link down in the description below and try out Setapp today. All right, from there, rather than just having my laptop sit somewhere randomly on the desk, I've actually got it propped up vertically in this beautiful walnut laptop dock made by a company called GroveMate. They actually sent me a whole host of accessories to deck out this new desk setup. So the monitor shelf is from them, the headphone stand, as well as this super elegant mouse pad and this fancy pen as well. And the thing about GroveMade is that all of their products are outrageously well made and super high quality. As you can see, each of the accessories I received are also in this walnut finish, which matches the aesthetic of the desk really nicely. But again, the level of quality in these accessories is top shelf, and they're also really functional and suit my workflow beautifully. Now, speaking of that mouse pad, on top, I'm still using the Logitech MX Master 3 mouse, which I did feature in my last setup video as well. And I still highly rate this mouse, even though I don't really take advantage of all of those customizable buttons, but it's the ergonomics of this mouse that make it such a great choice for me. Next to that, I've actually been testing out 2 keyboards at this new desk setup for the last little while. The first is the Keychron K4 version 2 keyboard, which is a fantastic wireless mechanical keyboard with brown switches. And the cool thing is that it works on both Mac and Windows devices. And it even comes with an additional set of customized keycaps so that you can make it suit the OS you use perfectly. But I've also been trying out this other cool mechanical keyboard by a company called Lofree. This is one of their dot wireless keyboards, and the one that I have is a part of the Night collection, which comes with a bunch of other cool accessories like a desk mat, a calculator, and a palm rest as well. So pretty solid value for money. And to be honest, I quite like the look of both of these keyboards. Let me know which one you prefer the look of down in the comments below, but I'll of course link to both of them in the description, as well as everything else that I've mentioned throughout this video. Now, the keyboards rest upon one of these black desk mats by OrbitKey. This is the medium-sized one, and it ties really nicely with that mouse pad from GroveMade, and the quality is on par as well. What I really enjoy about this desk mat in particular is that it comes with this magnetic cable clip that attaches along this groove at the top of the mat, which means you can keep any temporary cables secure even when they're not plugged in. It also has this neat little felt compartment underneath for storing any documents. Not that I actually use that, but whilst we're talking about OrbitKey, I've actually also been trying out their Nest organizer for a little while, which is a really handy accessory for keeping things tidy on the desk, and it even has a built-in wireless charger. And so this actually quite often lives next to my monitor plugged in and acts as my wireless charger throughout the day. Now, you'll notice that there are no speakers to be found on this desk setup at all. And that's because, as I've mentioned many times throughout this video, the key priority with this setup was portability. And so not including speakers just helps to minimize cables, and it also helps to retain some valuable desk space on top as well. Now, as I mentioned, I do have that headphone holder with a set of Bluetooth headphones from EPOS sitting atop. And so if I desperately want to listen to music or watch some videos, then aside from the built-in speakers on the MacBook Pro, which are pretty great enough, these headphones will certainly do the trick. Now, I also just wanted to give a shout out to Synology. They recently sent me their DS220 Plus system, and even though I'm still actually waiting on the drives to come, so I haven't actually fully set it up yet, I thought I'd just briefly mention why I'm excited to finally be moving over to a NAS-based system. So aside from being able to cope with larger amounts of data, the fact that we've now got 2 separate desk stations in the office means that up until now, if I wanted to access files on, let's say, my Mac that were actually sitting on my Windows machine, I'd have to either file transfer them online or put them on a drive and transfer them that way. But because the DS220 Plus is going to be connected to my home network, I can instead just have it set up in one location and then access all of the files I need both on my Mac and PC at the same time. But also, given Google is just about to cut off their free high-quality photo storage backup solution, actually in mere days, believe it or not, I'm actually super pumped to start trying out the photo backup solution that comes for free with the DS220 Plus. If you have Synology's Photos application installed on your phone, you can actually set it up to automatically back up your phone's photos and videos, and it packs in a bunch of smart features as well. So I'm hoping it can be a really solid replacement for Google Photos. Now, the drives that are currently being shipped are 2 Iron Wolf 18 terabyte drives from Seagate, which is honestly more storage than I think I'll ever need. And I'm very excited to say goodbye to my old external drives and start using these ones. But like I said, they're not here yet. And so once I've set the system up properly and I've been using it for a little while, I'll keep you updated as to what my experience has been like using this entire system. Okay, so back to the main desk setup, and if we pull back just a little bit, one of the things I really wanted to incorporate into this setup was some artwork. I was looking around online and there are just so many options and it was a bit overwhelming. And so after a company called Grid reached out, I just knew I had to get a couple of their technology-based artworks. Their artworks all feature real-life teardowns of various smartphone or technology classics. I myself have the iPod Touch and iPhone 4S variants, and there's just something really visually unique about these artworks that I love. Plus, they of course have that technology theme to them, which suits my office and the work that I do to a T. Now, you'll notice that there's really no space on this desk setup for a dedicated lamp. So I've instead been using the BenQ screen bar reading lamp, and it just sits right on top of the monitor. It's dimmable, it's bicolor, it connects via USB, and aside from providing some nice illumination when things get a little dark, it's also supposed to help eliminate eye strain and discomfort. Now, last but certainly not least with this desk setup is the chair. I've recently started using the Kaiser 2 from Anderseat, and I've got to say, I knew my previous Mille Berger chair from IKEA was a bit on the low end, but moving to the Kaiser 2 has been a pretty significant upgrade. You can tell just by the sheer weight of this thing how premium it is. It's got all of the adjustments you'd need as well, and whilst I ain't no gamer, I've got to say, I've really enjoyed using this chair. Aside from that, that's it for this desk setup. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What aspects do you like and what aspects do you think could be improved? If you enjoyed the video, then a sub would be amazing. But that's it. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you later.